Hey guys, this will be a short live chat, but I want us to check in and hopefully Samantha will hop on and we can check in with Samantha and see how her and the baby are doing. And I'll start off by saying that was an interesting live chat yesterday, specifically when I was flipping through the settings and trying to figure out how to help one of the people in the chat hop up on the panel because she had hopped up on the panel, but it wasn't coming through on my side. So I was clicking through the settings, and while I was clicking through, I evidently unblocked anybody I had blocked. So that's kind of interesting. And then within mere seconds, one of the known scumbag attackers hopped right up on the panel. So the question begs, how on earth would he or she, using a fake, voice thingy, have known that they were unblocked? They've been blocked for over a year. So how is it that within seconds they would have known? And then it gets even more interesting because everything that came out of his or her mouth, depending on whether or not it's a male or a female using some sort of voice thingy, was the same old garbage we've heard before. Singing the same old song. And then he or she, depending, hopped right on another panel, another scumbag attacker, just like he is or she, depending, and sat there and lied about his or her, depending, experience hopping up on our panel. Just when you think the scumbag attackers have picked up their little toys and headed off to a different sandbox, they prove once again that they're always lurking. They've also proved once again how connected they are to each other. This isn't just coincidental or by happenstance. They're connected, it's organized, and their behavior is despicable. And I kind of think that my hunch is right about the one person who's behind it all. So I just want to start off this live chat by saying, shame on them. So how are you guys doing today? Hey, Robin. Hey, Salon. Hey, Interrupter. Interrupter says, hey, guys, I'm super excited. That's a good thing. Salon says, hello from Canada. And Robin says, hey, MM. I thought we'd do a quickie live chat here and check in on Samantha. So hopefully she hops on and we can get the road report on how she and the baby are doing today. So what are you guys up to? Anything new and exciting? Interrupter, you start because you said you're super excited. Sophia's here. Hey, Sophia. Robin, I was just chatting about the thing yesterday when I unblocked, when I was trying to get the settings right, and it evidently unblocked anyone I've blocked over the last however many years. And within seconds, one of the scummiest scumbags hopped right up on the panel. One of the scummiest scumbags who's actually either the person or hooked very closely to the person who, in my opinion, is behind all of the attacks. I think it's really interesting that within seconds of that unblocking, that whoever it is who was using that profile, whether or not with a voice synthesizer or whatever you call it, hopped right up on the panel. Like, how would they have known? I also think it's interesting that that person was just spewing the same venom. And just let me clarify, he or she, depending on whether or not it's a voice thingy, They're running around lying, of course. That's what they do. Saying, that we're bashing Shanann. Bullshit. This channel is pro Bella and Cece. And if somebody has a problem with that, then that's their problem. On this channel, we care about what happened to Bella and Cece. We care about what those girls suffered through. We care about the look in Bella's eyes of sadness and fear. So for any of you scumbag attackers who are lurking in the wings, shame on you for evidently not caring about Bella and Cece. Shame on you. Sophia says, do they get notified of that? I don't think so. But if any of you are computer savvy, definitely feel free to consider that and let me know. So what do you think? The more you think about it, do you think it may have been moving day? Do you think when Christopher Watts said that she wasn't supposed to be there, for a long time, I think a lot of people were thinking it was his coworker that he was doinking, right? What if he was actually talking about his wife? Could that be? I don't know. Could it be that that room on the main floor was where his wife spent most of her time? Could it be that his wife did spend most of her time online? Could it be that his wife actually was very active on social media? Maybe part of groups or, gangs, keeping their eye on who was talking to who and, you know what I mean? The YouTube drama. Could it be that her online activities were, I don't know, part of the whole thing of people working together? They use the word working, Could it be? I don't know. Robin said, why didn't she just stay in North Carolina? She went back to Colorado with plans to go on that weekend retreat. It was a sales training seminar. It was a sales training seminar. Remember, we're told she was 35th from the top. We're told she was highly successful. 35th from the top. And she signed up to go to a sales training seminar? Really? Don't you think if she was 35th from the top, that she may, have been the one teaching the seminar as opposed to attending a seminar? Don't you think if she was 35th from the top, that when they went to that rock concert convention, whatever it was, that they would have had better seats? I'm not kidding. If you're 35th from the top out of all of those tens of thousands of people, wouldn't you get a better seat than all the way in the back? And let's be real, if she was highly successful, then why didn't they even own a car? I don't get that. Salon says, too many unanswered questions. The interrupter says, weird how FR had to fly to CO just so he could fly back to NC in order to escort SW and the kids. Well, I think he actually babysat for the kids before they flew back, but I'm not sure. Robin says, a legend in her own mind. And evidently, we're supposed to just take it as the truth. She was highly successful. I don't believe it. I don't believe she made any money on any of the MLMs she signed up for. I don't believe it. What if it was moving day? This is interesting, Sophia. I haven't heard this before. Sophia says, I think that SW's dad was living there at the time of the incident. Listen to Betty's door interview. Let's see. I'll see if I can find it quick. We'll go to YouTube. It's still circling. My computer's tired. Search. Chris Watts, Betty's door interview. Let's see if that works. Betty's talk with L.E. during neighborhood canvassing. Let's see.
Listen up, chocolate lovers. I'm giving away 3,000 free samples of the world's most delicious. And she knows when something.
Oh, so she's talking about it. Okay.
Been gone.
I'd like to hear her talk.
I don't think.
Nope. Okay, here we go.
So what? Just look on her.
Thought you were here yesterday. Maybe someone complained about that I hadn't seen before.
What type of truck?
It was kind of almost a steel gray. Don't ask me.
Okay.
Year, but that was late afternoon. The dad has a great big truck.
Okay, so she's saying late afternoon.
Late afternoon? Interesting.
Yesterday would have been.
I'll fast forward it here.
But we went. Truck.
Okay, I'm gonna try again to find a different one so that I don't keep on playing the other person's stuff here. Let's see. We'll try this one and see if there's a whole lot of talking going on. Because I'm not interested in playing another channel's comments on it, just the tape itself, the video itself. Okay, we'll fast forward.
How would you describe your relationship with them?
Okay, the volume, the audio isn't working. I don't know why. She's talking, but it's not playing on this one, the audio. Oh, that's interesting.
Very quiet family. They moved in just before I did 5 years ago. In fact, before the children were even born.
Okay.
Yeah.
How would you describe your relationship with them?
Cordial.
Cordial?
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw the father. When did I see Dad? The end of last week, maybe.
Okay.
What?
Yeah, I was asking him about the lawn.
What? Did you hear that?
Because my lawn has started to die.
What? What?
Oh. What are you doing to keep your lawn green? He told me. I would never have known. Geez, that's scary. Mom and Dad used to live over there too with them.
Okay. When
Yeah,
was the last time you saw Mom and Dad?
oh, I believe it was Dad, and that could have been maybe 3 weeks ago in the backyard.
Okay.
Interesting. Law enforcement asked Betty, the neighbor, when was the last time you saw Dad? Because Betty told the law enforcement officer that Mom and Dad used to live there with them. Sandy said end of last week. I think she was referring to Christopher Watts when she said the dad. I think that's what she was talking about. Because then she said the mom and dad lived there. And then she said she thought it was just a few weeks ago, the last time she saw the dad. Interesting. Let's keep going. Can you hear this okay, you guys? Let me wait a second here until you answer. Okay, so just to be clear, I think when Betty said that she talked to the dad the end of last week, I think she was talking about Christopher Watts. She was asking him, how do you keep the grass so green? I think she was referring to Christopher Watts. But then she told law enforcement that the mom and dad used to live there and that she saw the dad there just a few weeks before. You can hear it. Okay, good. I'll go ahead and click on it again. Thanks, Sophie.
And they're very quiet.
Okay.
I never hear any noises. They have a little dog.
Okay.
And I hardly ever see any lights on.
Okay. Anything different over the last, 2 days, 3 days? Odd vehicles, odd noises, odd lights?
There was a truck out here yesterday. In fact, that's why I thought you were here yesterday. Someone complained about that I hadn't seen before.
What type of truck?
It was kind of almost stiff.
Okay, did you hear that? She said there was a truck out here yesterday that I hadn't seen before. She's saying it's a steel gray color.
Steel gray. Don't ask me.
Okay.
Year. But that was late afternoon. The dad has a great big truck and it's gray. But this one was smaller.
Okay.
This one was smaller.
Um,
But I hadn't seen it before, so I.
Any markings or stickers or anything that would be weird? You want by chance remember if the plate was green or red or?
No, I kind of just glance. I don't
glance
pay
at
any attention because I believe he owns his own business or something because he always.
Interesting. Isn't that interesting? She saw a truck that she had never seen before. She said that Christopher Watt's father-in-law had a really big truck that was the same color, or she said gray. She said that the one she saw the day before she thinks was steel gray, but she had never seen it before, and she said it was smaller than Christopher Watt's father-in-law's truck. Interesting, and it was there the day before? Really?
Has a truck parked there, so kind of.
I gotcha.
I just kind of noticed it wasn't the normal truck.
Was it dirty by any means?
No, it wasn't, and it couldn't have been that old.
Okay. How long was the truck sitting there?
I saw it yesterday morning around 5:15 a.m. because I go to the gym then.
Okay.
It was still there when I got back at 6:45.
What? She saw the strange truck there at 5:15 in the morning? Let's say that again. She saw the strange truck there at 5:15 in the morning, and it was still there when she got back. Wow.
And then it was there around, I think, noontime.
Okay.
And the reason I mentioned it is it was gone by the time you guys left yesterday.
So did you hear that? She said the reason I mention it is because it was gone by the time you guys left yesterday. She said it was still there around noon. And what time was the call made? 1 o'clock or something? So it was still there at noon? It was there at 5:15 in the morning? Hello.
Okay. Well, did you see the police in the area while that truck was still here?
See, I can't see it from my house.
Gotcha.
So it could have been gone by then.
Okay.
But this is unusual. Very quiet neighborhood.
Yes, this is very unusual. That's why we're got a lot of resources out here trying to find them and make sure they're okay. So,
I didn't know she was pregnant again. I hardly ever see her.
okay. How do you know she's pregnant?
It said it on Neighborhood Watch.
Okay, I gotcha. But you didn't know it?
No.
Okay.
I hardly ever see her. Just normally, they keep very much to themselves.
When you did see her, did you ever see her around her husband?
Yeah.
How
They
were
would
they?
have barbecues.
Yeah. Were they polite, friendly, or was she kind of quiet, reserved? What was it?
They both are very quiet, reserved, very quiet.
When was the
Nice
last time
neighbors.
you spoke to her?
Oh my gosh. I don't think I've seen her all summer.
Really? Okay. Gotcha. And
Yeah.
kiddos, when was the last time you saw little kiddos?
You're making me work my
I
brain.
know, really digging deep in it.
It could be 4 to 6 weeks since they've been out. They have all their little toys. They don't go outside in the heat of the day. At least that's kind of what I notice. And they don't go outside unless an adult is there.
Wonderful. I'm glad. I mean,
Yeah.
the two little will be out by themselves.
Yeah, they are. What are they?
Did you hear that? She said that the girls don't go outside during the heat of the day. And they don't go outside unless there's an adult there with them. I think maybe what she neglected to say was whether or not they ever went outside at all.
3 and 5, I think. Or 2 and 4, something like that.
3 and 4.
3 and 4.
According to my pamphlet.
Yeah.
So,
They're cute little things.
anything that I haven't asked that you think I should know, or just odd, or something you thought was weird?
I wouldn't think anything is weird from over there because normally you hardly ever see anyone go in, come out. Now I saw his truck leave yesterday. Maybe it was this morning. I was leaving for the gym. His truck had the lights on, which is unusual for that point. 5:15 in the morning. Only fools like me are up.
So you don't usually see him leave at that time of day? Or was that the gray truck, or what truck was that?
That was his regular truck. Pretty big truck. Maybe, what could I compare it to? An F-250, 350, the big ones. Yeah.
That's the old truck. Is that like a
Pickup.
Yeah. Does that have a camper or anything? Camper shell or anything on the back of it? Would you say it's bigger than that truck?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have 2 or 4 doors.
Wait a minute. What truck is she talking about, you guys? Is she talking about Christopher Watt's father-in-law's truck? Because I just asked if there was a camper.
No, I don't. I never paid a bunch of attention. You're gonna stop paying attention. This is scary.
It doesn't happen again, or
Yeah,
very often at least.
I hope not. Oh God, I hope the mother and 2 children are found okay. But there's like I said, never any noise, never any yelling. very quiet, very pleasant when you speak to them. They keep to themselves.
Never heard an argument or anything over there?
Never.
Okay. Did they ever mention if they've ever been in a fight or having bad days to you?
No, the neighbors, and we really don't talk much. I mean, Cheryl and I do because we're the same age. They're so much younger. There's not a lot in common, you know.
Interesting. So Betty the neighbor is describing Christopher Watt's wife as being very quiet. Very quiet. That's not my impression from those videos. Yes, Happy. That's Betty the neighbor. Yeah, no lights on in the house much. Yeah. This is an interesting video. You know, I've seen it before, but I don't know that I've paid attention to these little details. Interesting. I'll just keep saying interesting. Very interesting. Oh, we have another commercial.
If you do the thing that you are passionate about and you tell people about it.
Okay. So, was it yesterday morning, Monday morning that you went to the gym?
I go every day.
Okay. So then, if you remember yesterday morning going out,
That's when I noticed the little truck.
okay. Where was it? Was it in the driveway or on the street?
No, it was on the street. It was between the two houses, right about in front of my tree.
Interesting again. It was on the street in between the two houses. Wow. Hey, Star Mama.
You said it's a little truck or the
It's a smaller truck than what's normally there.
okay, like that size or smaller?
No, maybe that size.
Maybe that size. Okay.
No camper.
And that was the gray one?
Yeah.
And you think his normal truck's like the 2500
Yeah,
or
it's a
3500?
bigger truck.
But both gray?
So it does sound like she may have been talking about his father-in-law's truck when they asked her if it had a camper. So is Betty saying that Christopher Watt's father-in-law had his truck there? Could he have kept his truck there? I don't know. I'm almost tempted to re-listen to this.
Yeah, but different shades of gray.
Okay. The other littler one, was it darker or lighter?
I believe it was lighter.
Okay. Similar to steel gray.
Yeah. And the other one's darker. Maybe a hint of green in the gray. But I haven't, except for this morning, come to think of it. I haven't seen a lot of big trucks. Is that what you're finding? I haven't seen.
What'd she just say, except for this morning?
Wake at 5 in the morning, but you know, you're making me think that I did see the truck. I believe it was this morning because the lights were turned on, and I was pulling. You have to be careful coming out of here because it's kind of a three-way mess if you're all going the same way. But I noticed that the back lights were on. But
That was around 5:15 this morning.
I leave 5:15 every morning.
That's kind of odd for him.
Well, I don't. Not often do I see the lights that early.
Okay.
But then he could leave at 5:20, and I would not know it.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
See him leave sometimes in the morning to go to work?
Not often. No, I kind of keep to myself, and I'm really not nosy. I have been the last 2 days because you guys out here, but
Is it just you that lives here, or?
no, I have a significant other, but he's at work.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, how far out does your ring camera go?
It's just this area, the front porch, and around in front of the garage.
Okay. Did you see any? Have you looked back on yesterday morning or this morning and see anything on?
My significant other, he keeps track of it at work all the time, and he can tell when the postman comes and everything. And I'm here most of the time. I was gone this morning for a bit, but you know, postman, nothing out of the norm. We have a lot of dog walkers
Okay.
that come by.
And the camera over the garage, is that just the garage area? Is that a light?
It focuses on this area.
This area. Okay. So that's not going to see out to the roadway?
No.
Okay. Would it be picked up if the light came and flashed on it? Would it pick up as you drove by? If it
The
cast a shadow?
ringer does.
The ringer does.
Yeah, and the ringer, basically, the ringer will pick up right at that corner there.
Okay.
I've not seen, I don't see people walking up and down unless they're walking their dogs. Kids are going back to school, so I don't even see them much anymore.
Did you, yesterday morning, did you happen to see neighbor's truck in the driveway or on the street?
I didn't notice it. No. And I don't look for it, like I said, I saw the back lights on, and that's what caught my attention.
That was this morning.
Is he not home either?
Your neighbor?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's home. Any other odd vehicles, pickups, cars, planes, helicopters?
No, we don't get. I know Cheryl has a lot of company, but I know she tells me when they're coming. And other than that, I don't see a lot. Now the neighbor across the street has a big truck, Remmert Construction or something. That's his own business. That's not here today, and that's gone. And he parks it right there a lot of times. But other than that, it's so quiet. It's a good thing, except people can get away with things like this when you're in a quiet neighborhood and nobody.
So this is really interesting,
watching.
you guys, because
I'm going to leave you this. It has a couple of phone numbers to contact Detective Dave.
I'm going to listen to it again after we do this live chat. I'm going to listen to it very closely because I'm kind of curious. It sounds like she's making it sound like Christopher Watt's father-in-law's truck was there, which would make sense if he actually just kept the truck out there. But then who was driving it, right? What do you guys think? MJ says, I don't think SW was moving. Well, I'm not so sure SW was moving that day, but I think that Christopher Watts was. I think Christopher Watts was moving that day, and I think there was an upcoming court hearing for an ongoing family matter where it may have been addressed whether or not anybody would be living in the house after that. I think it was moving day. I think when Christopher Watts said she wasn't supposed to be there, he was referring to his soon-to-be ex-wife. I think that marriage was over for a very long time. I personally don't think doinking his coworker had anything to do with the troubles with the marriage or with anybody's plans or motives or whatever. I think by the time he started doinking his coworker, that the marriage was long over and he had one foot out the door. Too bad he didn't put both feet out the door and actually think about his children first when he spent his summer doinking the coworker. Salon says no sign of kids playing Play-Doh, coloring, crafts. Exactly. No refrigerator art. Star Mama says, how do we know? Well, we don't. And remember, you make a good point that Christopher Watt's father-in-law says he knows what happened. But he says we'll never know because they don't tell people like us. I think he's referring to us and like everybody else on the planet who evidently doesn't know the truth. He also said in his interview with law enforcement that Christopher Watt's wife came home, pulled up the receipt on her phone, confronted Christopher Watts, right? I don't know if he used the word confronted or not, but it sounded like that. Well, how would he have known? And didn't her brother during his police interview say something about hearing the truck in the driveway or something? Or in the garage, I think? Sandy says she didn't want to accept the separation. According to Cindy Watts, this is what Cindy Watts told me, that Christopher Watts told her that his wife said something like, you're going to pay for this, or I'm going to make you pay for this. And he also told his mother, according to his mother, that his wife said that he would never see the kids again. Sandy, that's a good question. And that's a good point, Sophia. Was there, I almost said were and was at the same time. Were there any photos? Was there any proof? This is interesting. Right up there with how it would be that one of the known scumbag attackers, I say that only because of the association of that profile with other known scumbag attackers, would have hopped right on the panel within seconds of being unblocked. That's just too interesting. I'm not all tech savvy about stuff like that, so I'm not sure quite how that works. But it sure seems to me that at least a very small pack of rabid animals are still trying to nip at ankles. Star Mama thinks that Christopher Watt's wife went to North Carolina to look for a place to live. But here's the thing, Star Mama. She didn't have any money. I think that her friend perhaps was a caregiver. And I think her caregiver friend wanted a month off in order to get married. Because I think it's really strange that they were such close friends, but she seemed like she didn't know how old she was. And as far as I can tell, there was no mention of her wedding. If they were so close, then why wasn't Christopher Watt's wife at her friend's wedding? Sandy says, so true, Sophia. A picture in a restaurant could be from any day, unless they look at the time and location data. And consider this. If you look at the photo that was being promoted at the time of, the endangered missing posters and everything, the headlines, the mainstream media, they were repeatedly posting a photo of her from almost 4 years earlier. Why? Yes, and what about the hairdresser that claimed she suddenly won the lottery and she quit her job and moved out of town? Toot sweet. Mo says, yes, why wasn't she at her best friend's wedding? And on top of that, Mo, even from what I can tell, no mention of it. Daisy Days, I remember that. There was talk in 2018 about an ambulance and about a taxi. But good luck finding any of that information, right? That's why when the scumbag hopped up on the panel and he's like, yeah, do you have proof? Give me some proof. Do you have proof? Where are you seeing this? Give me some proof. Give me some proof. And then he said he would send me the information that he was claiming he saw. And of course, checking my email even just 20 minutes ago, in the last 24 hours, nothing has come in from him with proof that he claims exists. I noticed that about the scumbag attackers. They're very quick to say, oh, can you show me a receipt? Oh, where did you see that? Oh, what video are you talking about? Oh. And then poof, it becomes a little more difficult to find that video again, doesn't it? Yes, and what about her other two daughters, right? A play date, wasn't it? A play date with her other two daughters? No, Daisy Days. I haven't heard from Susie yet. Maybe she doesn't have electricity maybe it'll take them a while to get it turned back on. I don't know. Paul says, MM's recent story about the German guy. You mean Marcus? The hot German guy? Star Mama, it is an interesting thought that she may have been thinking she was going to buy a house, but I think reality would dictate that she wouldn't be able to. But maybe she planned on getting a house with somebody else, and maybe those plans fell through. I don't know. Yes, Daisy Days. I hope everything's good with Susie. I hope we hear from her soon. Star Mama says he, meaning the scumbag attacker, or she, depending on whether or not it was some kind of a voice thingy they were using, he or she was busy saying we were trashing SW, and he stood up for her. Oh, bullshit. Again, nobody on this channel is trashing anybody, except maybe the scumbag attackers from time to time. We care about what happened to Bella and Cece. We care about the look of fear and sadness in poor little Bella's eyes. If they don't want to join in that discussion, that's their problem. Oh, and now he's saying that we're saying that he got paid to come over here. Yeah, okay, whatever. Daisy Day says, seriously, can you believe anything in this case? It's all based on lies. Well, as long as we keep digging, and as long as we keep trying to put the puzzle pieces together, it actually remains interesting, I think. I still say it was moving day, you guys. I think it was. And now Betty, the neighbor, is saying in her front door interview with law enforcement that there was a strange truck there that she had never seen there before. And she saw it there at 5:15 in the morning, and it was still there at noon. That's an interesting thought, Michelle. She was probably faking like she was going to buy a house to use that as content to lure people into her downline and keep the downline she already had thinking you can make money in MLMs. Mo says Betty's interview is worth another listen. Do you guys want to listen to the interview again? I can play it again if you want. It's pretty short. If you want me to, I will. Oh, first, Samantha just popped in. Hey, Samantha, how are you doing? It's time for the Mommy and Baby Road Report. And then we'll go ahead and listen to the Betty on the Porch interview again. I'm just waiting a second here for Samantha to type. She's a slow typist when she's, putting her feet up for weeks at a time. We'll be patient with her because she's probably hormonal. I'm just teasing you, Samantha. Okay, here it is. Samantha says, I'm good, thanks. Had good news. Looks like I'll get to 37 weeks. I'm being induced in 5 weeks. Excelente. Woohoo. Very cool. Very cool. Samantha says, LOL. I said, cheeky bugger. Lots of love. Daisy Day says, hey, Samantha. Hope baby girl is still snug as a bug. Okay, we'll go ahead and go back to the Betty interview here. It's silent in the beginning, so I don't know what she's saying in that part.
Very quiet family.
Very quiet family.
They moved in just before I did 5 years ago. In fact, before the children were even born.
Okay.
Yeah.
How would you describe your relationship with them?
Cordial.
Cordial?
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw the father. When did I see Dad? The end of last week, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, I was asking him about the lawn because my lawn has started to die, and what are you doing to keep your lawn green? He told me. I would never have known. Geez, that's scary. Mom and Dad used to live over there too with them.
Okay, she said mom and dad used to live over there too with them. So she's saying past tense, mom and dad used to live over there too with them.
When was the last time you saw mom and dad?
Law enforcement just said, when was the last time you saw mom and dad?
I believe it was Dad, and that could have been maybe 3 weeks ago.
She said, I believe it was dad, and that could have been maybe 3 weeks ago. Okay? Now, think this one through. The last time that we've been told that Christopher Watt's father-in-law was there would have been 7 weeks before the tragedy occurred. 7 weeks. Betty, the neighbor, is saying on her front porch to law enforcement that it was maybe 3 weeks ago. There's a huge difference between 7 weeks and 3 weeks. I'm thinking.
Backyard.
Okay.
And they're very quiet.
Okay.
I never hear any noises. They have a little dog. And I hardly ever see any lights on.
Okay.
Betty just said they're very quiet. I don't hear any noises. They have a little dog, and I hardly ever see any lights on. Why wouldn't there be any lights on in the house?
Anything different over the last, I don't know, 2 days, 3 days? Odd vehicles, odd noises, odd lights?
There was a truck out here yesterday. In fact, that's why I thought you were here yesterday.
Anything different? And she said there was a truck out here yesterday. In fact, that's why I thought you were here yesterday.
Someone complained about that I hadn't seen before. And
She said that I hadn't seen before.
it was kind of almost a steel gray.
It was kind of almost a steel gray.
Don't ask me.
Okay.
She said, don't ask me the make. And she laughs.
Year.
Or the year.
But that was late afternoon. The dad has a great big truck.
She said that was late afternoon. That was late afternoon. And then she said the dad has a great big truck.
And it's gray.
And it's gray.
But this one was smaller.
But this one was smaller.
But I hadn't seen it before.
But I hadn't seen it before.
Any markings or stickers or anything that would be weird? You want by chance remember if the plate was green or red or?
No, I kind of just glance. I don't pay any attention because I believe he owns his own business or something because he always has a truck parked there. So kind of.
I gotcha.
I just kind of noticed it wasn't the normal truck.
Was it?
Hold on. She said, I think he owns his own business or something because he always has the truck parked there. Really?
Dirty by any means?
No, it wasn't. And it couldn't have been that old.
Okay. How long was the truck sitting there?
I saw it
Law enforcement just asked Betty on the porch, how long was the truck sitting there?
yesterday morning around 5:15 a.m.
Betty says, I saw it yesterday morning around 5:15 a.m.
Because I go to the gym then.
Okay.
It was still there when I got back at quarter
She said it was still there when she got back from the gym
to 7,
at 6:45.
and then it was there around, I think, noontime.
And then it was there around noon.
And the reason I mentioned it is it was gone by the time you guys left.
She said it was gone by the time the police were there.
While that truck was still here.
See,
You
I
know,
can't-
you guys, this is really interesting stuff here. This is interesting stuff. Hey, Shrimp Cocktail. We haven't seen you in a while. If you've been keeping up with us, Samantha and Baby, daily report here. Samantha is doing well. The baby's doing well. And it looks like everything's good. What did you say, Samantha, for waiting till 37 weeks? Which is very good. That's so much better than 32 weeks, isn't it? So that's the Samantha Road report for today. But okay, this truck, 5:15 a.m. Really? 6:45 a.m. Really? Still there at noon? Really? Before the police came? It was still there at noon? What's that about? Seriously. Do you guys think that maybe it was moving day? Oh, I didn't know that. Shrimp Cocktail says the truck was also spotted on Nate's footage, but he quickly fast forwards the video when showing the police. Okay, so did anybody ever find that truck? Did law enforcement ever investigate who that truck belonged to? You know, there's a way to do that, right? There's a way to do that. There's a way to figure out what vehicles are coming and going and who they belong to. And before you got here, Shrimp, also, Betty said in her porch interview that she saw Christopher Watt's father-in-law at the house. She thinks it was 3 weeks prior to the tragedy. But what we're being told is that he hadn't been there at all during that time frame, that he hadn't been there. I think the last time he was there was 7 weeks prior to the tragedy. And I don't think Betty is looking like she's a confused person or anything. I don't think anyone's going to say 3 weeks if they really mean 7, right? So who is the steel gray, smaller than Christopher Watt's father-in-law's gray truck? Who is the registered owner of the smaller, steel gray in color truck? And why was it there? 5:15 a.m.? Are you kidding me? Samantha, are you saying that the ruse gave NA a red truck? You know, remember, as far as we know, the dogs never picked up on any scent on Christopher Watt's work truck, right? And remember, we were told that they saw in the video Christopher Watt's carrying out bodies like trash or something like that to his work truck. I'll go ahead and click on the video again. We'll pick up right where we left off.
See it from my house.
Gotcha.
So,
She's talking about how she isn't really a nosy neighbor,
like that.
and it's hard to see from her house.
You know, this is unusual.
But she was outside
Quiet.
when she saw it there at 5:15
This
a.m.
is very unusual. That's why we're trying. Got a lot of resources out here trying to find them and make sure they're
Yeah.
okay. So,
I didn't know she was pregnant again. I hardly ever see her.
okay. How do you know she's pregnant?
It said it on Neighborhood Watch.
Okay. I got you. But you didn't know.
So, I hardly ever see her just normally.
Did you notice that? Betty says, I didn't know she was pregnant again. Remember the pictures they were using with her standing sideways? Promoting a picture. Now, if you have a missing person, shouldn't you be using a current photo? Why, if you have a missing person, would the mainstream media be using a photo from almost 4 years earlier? That doesn't make sense. So Betty must have seen a photo, right? She said she heard it from the neighborhood group or neighborhood watch or whatever. Yes, as current as possible, Samantha. But that helps promote the pregnancy narrative, doesn't it? Remember, 4.2 ounces is what the autopsy said. Even in that doorbell footage that they're claiming was from that night, I don't think she looked pregnant. But that's a whole nother issue, right?
Very much to themselves.
When you did see her, did you ever see her around her husband?
Yeah.
How
They
were
would
they?
have barbecues.
Yeah. Were they polite, friendly, or was she kind of quiet, reserved, or what was it?
They both are very quiet, reserved, very quiet.
Interesting. According to Betty, the next door neighbor, both Christopher Watts and his wife were very quiet and reserved. Okay, you guys, you know my theory. You guys know that I think that Christopher Watts' wife had mental illness, and I think she spent the majority of her time in that little room on the main floor. I think those videos were not the norm. The next door neighbor is saying they were both very quiet and reserved. I think that's an interesting clue. Jeanette says, yes, she was sitting in the red truck when she did a video. And you know what I noticed about that video? She kept looking at the rear view mirror. And she had kind of a scared look in her eyes, I think. So I have a question again. I'm going to go ahead and say it again. I said it earlier in the video, but just in case anybody who has jumped in here can answer it. Yesterday, we had a scumbag attacker who is either the same person or closely connected to a known scumbag attacker hop up on the panel within seconds of me unblocking. He or she, depending on whether or not they're using a voice thingy, would have had no way of knowing, as far as I know, that they were suddenly unblocked after over a year. So for all of you tech geniuses out there, what does that mean? I think that is just very interesting that within seconds, the scumbag attackers were gearing up for action. How would they have known that they were no longer blocked unless maybe they're somehow hacked into that particular channel? I wonder. And I also wonder because I can see who their little gang is, right? And one of them actually kind of prides himself on being able to do stuff like that. Ooh, good point, Shrimp Cocktail. Shrimp Cocktail says, I guarantee that truck is the size of a pop can by now, after a few people pointed out that NA had it in her possession. Interesting. Are you talking about the red truck now? Because that one video just was kind of alarming, really, when I saw how she kept looking at that rearview mirror and she looked scared. Sophia says SW didn't even post videos the last few weeks. I think it was even longer than that. Does anyone know what the date of her last Facebook Live was? I don't know. So that was the red one. I think the red one is the one that she was staring at the rearview mirror and looking, I think she was looking scared. That's just my opinion. She looked like she had a scared look in her eyes. Star Mama says that she wonders if NA still has SW's rings that CW gave her to hold on to. Daisy Days says that NA said that she was, this is what it says. NA said that she sleep it out. She woke, checked her phone, no text from SW, so she went back to sleep. Was she supposed to be there early? If she wasn't there already, was she supposed to be there early? Samantha says, exactly, Paula. That's how I know. Oops, it scrolled faster than I can read. Hold on. Exactly, Paula. That's how I know it was her place of work. Police covered up my abuse as social services left me in the home after they knew. So I think that's exactly what happened in this case. Shrimp Cocktail says NA was there all night. The son told investigators they slept in the car on the street, remember? So SW doesn't answer the phone and they park out front until she answers. Get the out of here. Sophia says, I think June 19th was the last video. So what was going on in that time frame? Paul says, so NA had SW's rings about the SUV. I never knew any of this and thought I knew a lot about this case. Well, Paul, if it's any consolation, you know a hell of a lot more than any one of the scumbag attackers. Did you see the thing yesterday? Did you see it? I said, you know about the quitclaim deed? What quitclaim deed? The quitclaim deed that was posted during the bankruptcy. Well, when was the bankruptcy? I'm betting you that most people who have been discussing this case for even a month or two know the answer to that question. This guy claims he's been, researching the case for 2 years. That's one thing I've noticed about the scumbag attackers. They don't know the case at all. They just know their talking points. Oh, you're bashing Christopher Watts' wife. No, we're not. We're noticing the look of sadness and fear in poor little Bella's eyes. That's what we're doing. Shame on them for evidently not caring. Star Mama says, why videoing cars and a truck? Sitting in cars with and without kids, no store videos, and she ordered groceries online. Why no shopping videos? Or dance class, tap class, ballet, horseback riding, Let's go to the park. Let's take the dog for a walk. Did that poor little dog ever go for a walk? Daisy Day says, I believe she stayed there. New Orleans lady says they have neighborhood watch. I guess his name is Nate. Star Mama says the attackers only talk about what they think will get attention. Most don't even know the age or birth dates. Shrimp Cocktail says, nope, her folks took makeup bag and all her electronic devices. That's why all of SW's pictures and videos are blasted all over social media for coin. That is, until someone questions SW's behavior, then they disappear. That's one thing I noticed about the scumbag attackers. They're like, well, what video are you talking about? Can you give me a link to that video? It's kind of like they're on assignment to run around and try to find whatever videos that maybe don't show Christopher Watts' wife in such a great light after all. Jeanette says, that's what I was thinking, that at least one person slept in the truck. 2 words, people, 2 words. Moving day. Moving day. I'm thinking we should write a script for a movie about this case, and we could call it Moving Day. Or maybe we could call it The Office, because I think a lot of stuff went on in that little room on the main floor. I think so. Listen to what Betty just said on her porch interview, that she didn't see the lights on, that Christopher Watts' wife was very quiet. I seriously wonder, was there a lock on the outside of that office door? Paul says, I noticed a lot of the controversial videos have been. Oop, you just went flying higher. Here we go. Hold on here. There, I clicked on it. Paul says, I noticed a lot of the controversial videos have been wiped from the internet. And if you pay attention to the scumbag attackers talking, they try to, buddy, and they'll say, could you please tell me which video or how I can find it or give me a link to it? And you know what? The answer is, do your own research. That usually pisses them off pretty well. Happy Angie says we could call it Say Hi. Sophia says it was Setup CW Day is what it was. Oh, there goes my cell phone. Hold on just 1 second. Hey guys, sorry about that, but my phone rang and you know me, I answer it. Sorry about that. So, okay, where are we? I'll read the comments in my fast speed. Ooh, maybe not. There are a lot of them. Woo. Okay. I was just outside too. Whew. My dog's looking at me like, why didn't we go for a walk just now? Okay, Shrimp Cocktail says her parents got paid by way of insurance policies, money grabs, donations, fundraisers, TV deals, and selling out their grandchildren for blood money. Salon says, yes, MM, those videos aren't the norm. Paul says, say hi, happy, happy. Say hi. Samantha says yes, because she asked Chris to lock it when the babysitter babysat. Okay, so if there's a lock on that main floor room, I'm telling you guys, whatever. It's my opinion. I think she was seriously mentally ill, and I think that she was kept in that room. I do not believe that her normal behavior, I'm doing air quotes, was the behavior that we see on those videos. I don't think that was her normal behavior. I think her normal behavior was pretty much sitting on social media doing nothing all day. Sophia says, say hi, say hi, say hi, come on, say hi. Happy Angie says, say hi, for the love of Thrive, say hi. Oh, you want a laptop? What do you do when you want something? We put it on the vision board. Star Mama says, where's the container with all of those meds that was in the basement? No mention of that. I don't know, maybe it went traveling with a makeup bag. Daisy Day says, blood money is right. Sickening. Samantha Irwin says, she asked him to lock her office the night he went to the lazy dog. Shrimp Cocktail says, I think the investigators didn't realize the cover-up until after the media had already, oopsie, there we go, click, had already painted him a murderer. After which, it was Christopher Watts' responsibility to fight, and he didn't. Exactly. And remember, from what Cindy Watts said, he didn't even know what they were saying until one time when he finally got out of his jail cell and was like walking into a shower or something. There was a television on, and he saw the headlines and learned only then that the mainstream media was saying that he had confessed to killing his wife and children. And that upset him a lot to think that that's what the news reports were saying. Here's a thought, just reading a couple of these comments. Do you guys think that Christopher Watts' wife actually controlled the money, or do you think that somebody else may have actually controlled the money? Daisy Day says, bills with different names, I'd say. Shrimp Cocktail says, SW had boxes full of medical supplies and prescription meds to fuel her Munchausen obsession, and her parents got it out of there quick. Well, didn't someone say one time that that moving truck was already set? Remember, if it was moving day, right? I think it's interesting that law enforcement would have allowed anything to be taken out of the house. Plus, at that point in time, it was Christopher Watts' house. Did he sign over permission? Probably. You know, Mr. Doormat, sign here? Okay. Star Mama says Straight had lots of facts and pictures backing what makes sense to me. He had the R's right from the start. Happy Andrew says, was it moving day for everybody or just certain people? I think that it was moving day for Christopher Watts and the girls, and I don't think that his wife was supposed to be there. Cecile says, and the state of the office was in complete dichotomy with the OCD of SW as if ransacked. Number one, Cecile, I don't think she ever had OCD. I think she probably saw an OCD support group on social media and thought, oh, that one sounds fun. I don't know, maybe disability pays for OCD too. I don't know. I don't think she ever had OCD. I think that the state of the office probably was in complete disarray. And I think that the state of the office may have been a reflection of maybe the state of mind. Shrimp Cocktail says her mom also accidentally admitted to having the kids missing blankets on social media, but that got swept under the rug too. Wow. Shrimp says, Star Mama, that's why Straight was getting attacked and mass reported. Sophia's asking MJ, is that during the Christmas time video in the wagon? Paul says, me too, Amanda. Samantha says, it says Peru, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's the word you wanted, Samantha. To make sure that it was locked, she asked him to lock it for the babysitter. Interesting. Star Mama says that office was a mess. Wonder why? Looking for policies, doctor reports, court stuff, or maybe a will. Because, you know, Cindy Watts strongly encouraged her son and daughter-in-law before their trip in early 2017 to get a will. MJ says, I wonder why Betty said she never saw them. Well, I think Christopher Watts' wife spent her days in that room on the main floor. I think the girls spent their days at the daycare center, and I think Christopher Watts spent his days working. Well, Samantha, there was a video that she did where she said, hi, I'm in my bedroom. And she was talking, and then she goes, I'm in my office. I thought, there you go. Shrimp Cocktail, I agree. I think that there's a long-standing animosity between the two mother-in-laws or the two mothers-in-law. I think that whole wedding thing, I don't think it was only Christopher Watts' wife who did not want Cindy Watts at the wedding. That's just my opinion. I think Cindy's probably been the brunt of anger, harassment, whatever. I don't know. I think she's probably been attacked for years. I mean, look at how Christopher Watts' wife acted. They got along great. They got along just fine. The night before Nutgate, or I call it the Nut Meltdown, Christopher Watts' wife confided a whole lot of stuff about her childhood to Cindy Watts. The night before she had her meltdown. Daisy Day says, maybe Mama Dearest. I was thinking that a script written about this case, based on the theories that we're throwing around, would be very much like that coat hanger movie. I think it would be. I think the opening scene could be poor little Bella laying in her bed, hearing the lock being unlocked on her bedroom door and wondering if it was time for her to get her rectal temperature taken or another dose of, lots of Tylenol. That poor little girl. Shrimp Cocktail says, CW told the bald friend, quote, "They're trying to set me up," end quote. Then Christopher Watts' mother-in-law got in the bald guy's ear saying, "Shame on you for having a murderer at your home with your children." And then he sat there on that park bench. And I don't know if you guys feel the same way after watching that video, but it seems to me like his wife was kind of like nudging him like, "Your turn. It's time for you to talk now." That was, I don't know. That was interesting. Good question, Star Mama. Why did NA keep all of the mail while SW was in North Carolina? What? Why would a friend be taking Christopher Watts' mail? Remember, when he met his wife, he had already shown a pretty solid track record of knowing how to, budget his income, save money, pay bills. There's absolutely no reason that Christopher Watts should not have been getting his own mail. So what's that about? Mo says the SW had to have controlled the money. Nobody else would have gotten them into that amount of debt. Really? What if somebody else was actually supposed to be taking care of their money? Just saying, what if? Where did that 10 grand go? And remember, Christopher Watts' wife's excuse about that whole court date looming for the unpaid HOA dues was that she sent it to the wrong address for 30 months, $52 a month. Something's up with that. I don't know what, but let's keep digging. Shrimp Cocktail says, no, it was moving day for SW. Okay, let me think here. So it was time to move SW out of the house and away from the kids and away from the hubs. So that would make sense for him to say she wasn't supposed to be there, right? It would make sense for one relative to say that he heard the truck pull in the garage. Makes sense for another relative to say, well, she came home and she pulled up the thing on her phone, right? So people would have been there to move her out then? Shrimp Cocktail says CW was staying in Colorado. SW was going back to North Carolina. And remember how Ronnie and Cindy offered to go with them back to help out? That to me sounds like moving day. It sure does. Kind of like final split day, right? And you guys know, everyone who knows anything about domestic violence knows that the most dangerous moment of any abusive relationship is the moment that the abuser realizes that they're about to lose total control. Pacific Northwest Time says her amount of disability would have been small as she didn't work much in her life. It would have been small, but there would have been other services available, other benefits available. And maybe that's why she was trying so hard to have the kids diagnosed with weird stuff. Yes, that's another interesting point where Christopher Watts is telling his folks about getting an apartment for him and Bella and Cece. a 2-bedroom, and he was going to get bunk beds. No mention of the third child. Very good point. And remember, Christopher Watts told his mother, according to Cindy Watts, that he didn't know how she got pregnant because they evidently had not been intimate. Oh, that's right, Paul. Thank you for reminding us. How do you pronounce that? Christopher? Christopher? Cobra says, wouldn't it have made more sense to move over the weekend while she was in Arizona? Well, maybe it did make sense. Maybe they were. Maybe they were already loading stuff up. Maybe she wasn't supposed to come back from Arizona. Maybe she was supposed to stay over at NA's house or something. Right. If there was any OCD going on, it wasn't Christopher Watts' wife, in my opinion. I think Christopher Watts, from everything that Cindy has told us, I think Christopher Watts was the one who kept that place clean. Sophia says, why was NA's son there? Good question. Why was he so familiar with the house? Amanda says, happy Angie, there was big money involved. Also, lots of evil. Paul is asking, did she ever work or even graduate from high school? I don't think so. Samantha says, didn't know that, shrimp. Shrimp says the house was clean and orderly. The house was clean and orderly because they were moving. Happy Angie says, shrimp, I agree. Paul says, so her bedroom was the office and CW's was in the basement? What a loving couple. Happy Angie says, was there a bed in that room? I don't know. But I imagine if there was, it was moved by the time any law enforcement got there. Amanda says, happy Angie, it's a part of a lot of the things in this world. We are told one story, but it's nothing like that. The world is a stage. And it's all about perception. Star Mama says, I always thought SR looked at Cindy with envy because SW looked up to her as an example of a good mom, wife, etc. I think that Christopher Watts' wife and Christopher Watts' mom were very close. And I do wish that Cindy was more of a fighter about standing up for herself because I think she has a lot to say. And I think a lot of us would very much appreciate hearing what Cindy Watts knows. Yes, Star Mama, that park interview was strange. Yeah, I've never seen a bed in there either, but isn't that where the shoes and the purses and all that were? The whole gorgeous routine? New Orleans lady says, if Chris got a 1217 alert that door was open and 1218 NA on camera, would that mean NA was in the house? I thought the door opening was like at 9 something. I don't know. But according to Betty on the porch talking to law enforcement, that strange truck was still there at noon. Shrimp Cocktail says HOA dues are not dealt with in family court, period. There were 2 court hearings scheduled, Shrimp. 2 court hearings. One was for the HOA dues that were unpaid, and it was like $1,500 and some dollars. And the second one, we were told by a family member, right? And I'm not talking about Cindy Watts, that it was for an ongoing family matter. I'm skipping over. Sorry, guys. You guys talk fast, or you guys comment faster than I can talk. Shrimp is saying that the person who people claim was once Christopher Watts' wife's boss covered the cost of the moving truck. And I have heard quite a few people saying that on the comment threads. And it's a good point. If true, then what's that about? But, didn't he also cover the cost of her phone until long after Christopher Watts married his wife? Wasn't there something about friends in a restaurant with her sitting there talking about how her friend was covering her phone? That doesn't make sense, does it? Star Mama says, I think the 10 grand paid back a loan to buy all of the MLM crap in the basement. She didn't say crap, I did. That she bought to make her goal for the free stuff, supposedly. Yep, she was her own best customer. Probably her only customer. Except I think Ronnie and Cindy said they bought stuff from her too to try to encourage her. Yeah, that sounds like evil in-laws, doesn't it? They were buying crap that they had no intention of using to try to encourage her with her dream. Red Shoes says, hello all, there would be a record of homeowners insurance payments. Redirected. No way would payments go missing at the wrong address, not possible. It wasn't for homeowners insurance, Red Shoes. It was for the homeowners association dues. It was only $52 a month. The homeowners insurance was probably included in the mortgage payment. And they may have had mortgage insurance payments too, probably, because I don't think they had any down payment to speak of. It doesn't mean they didn't have any down payment before anyone hops on it. It means I highly doubt they had much to put down when Christopher Watts bought the house. Shrimp Cocktail says someone was with them at the airport when they came back from North Carolina. Someone took pictures of CW, SW, and the kids at the airport. There you go. Maybe somebody flew with them and maybe somebody drove there. Amanda says, yep, when I left my abusive ex, all hell broke loose. He didn't beat me, but it was a mad time. That is the most dangerous moment. The most dangerous moment is when an abuser realizes they're losing control. So then, with the case of Christopher Watts, you have to ask yourself, was Christopher Watts' wife abusive? Well, gee golly, you think? Lots of Tylenol. Monsters. Dummy. Loser. What was the story before they even got married? How she physically, I guess, pounded him right out the front door, locked it, and left him standing there with no shoes, no coat, no car keys, or no cell phone. Had he been the female, guess what? She would have been carted off to jail. And one would hope in this gender bias free world that we live in, that she would have been arrested. But of course, by that time, I don't think Christopher Watts had the oomph to stand up for himself. That's how that works. Think about the isolation that goes on. Think about the constant erosion of a person's self-esteem or self-confidence. Before they even got married, he didn't even have the balls to report her for what she did. Or at least to put on his Nikes and go for a run, like forever. Star Mama says if a parent is disabled, they can get a check for children if they meet the guidelines. And I'm thinking that asthma and familial Mediterranean fever are probably both within the guidelines. Shrimp Cocktail says that CW also told NK that the baby wasn't his, but of course nobody believed him. I don't think the baby was his. I think it's probably true that they hadn't done it. And you know what? I think it's probably true that they hadn't done it for a very long time. A very long time. My theory goes way back to when she was 32 weeks along in her pregnancy with Bella. I think that's when something happened. And I think that's when Christopher Watts figured out that the woman he thought he married wasn't exactly the woman he thought he married. Paul says 90% of the kids' lives were spent in daycare or in bed, or when they were awake, having their grandfather FaceTime to make sure they were still alive. I think the way it was said was that he FaceTimed each evening with Chris to check on the girls. I don't know any man who would put up with in-laws checking on the girls, and I think that probably included all three of them, without putting his foot down and saying, enough of this crap, what's going on? Just my opinion, I think that they were checking to make sure, or to find out what kind of a day that Christopher Watts' wife was having. New Orleans says 1242 alert on SW's phone said garage door open. Chris said he gets alerts if the door is left open for 10 minutes. And Betty said that truck was still there at noon. But I think there was another time that he got an alert, and I think it was like 9 o'clock in the morning. Shrimp says that's probably why he gave up so easily. One, he was no match for his in-laws for his in-laws' shenanigans, and nobody believed a word he said anyway. M points out that NA's son found, quote unquote, found the phone in minutes. Star Mama says, what if the court was ordering SW in for treatment, maybe looking for a facility in North Carolina to take her in? Ooh, to take her? I think the court was probably going to order that she wasn't able to have access to Bella and Cece. I think the North Carolina social workers were probably filling out reports that were probably not soft pedaled or soft pedaling what they saw. Remember, Christopher Watts lived in a county that had a model program in place. They would be awarded even for their program to keep the children in the home, if at all possible, with a family plan to try to, help keep them safe. But is that how they are in North Carolina? Did they have a model plan to keep the kids in the home, or is their policy totally different? So if there was an open CPS case, which I think there probably was, based on the information that people have been saying on social media and what people have contacted me to say, I think there was an open CPS case. And I don't think it's that far of a stretch to even just watch a few of those videos and think to yourself, yeah, I bet there was an open CPS case. Look at that. Well, maybe the social workers in North Carolina, when they were doing their spot checks, that's what I'm told, that they had to spot check to make sure the family plan was being adhered to. Maybe they were appalled at what they saw. Maybe that ongoing family matter, that court hearing that was coming up, maybe that was in part because the social workers in North Carolina said, hey, we're sounding the alarm. Exactly, shrimp cocktail. They were trying to make it sound like, oh no, that was just for HOA dues. This is one of the problems with that whole Netflix flood of viewers, right? Because a lot of the information that was out there in 2018 isn't out there anymore. So somebody, watches the Netflix movie and then they hop on social media. They don't know about things like the quitclaim deed. They don't know about the HOA dues hearing and the ongoing family matter hearing. They listen to people like the weirdo who hopped up on the panel yesterday and they go, oh, so Christopher Watt's wife was the one who picked the kids up from the school. Really? Then why have we been told for over 3 years that Christopher Watts is the one who picked the kids up from school? Now the story's changing, the narrative's changing again. Good question, New Orleans lady. Why did the county take the house out of the foreclosure sale? I've never seen an auction canceled like that last minute. Wasn't it canceled twice last minute? What's that about? And who's paying the taxes? Well, according to what we saw on that public site, Christopher Watts himself is paying the property taxes. Okay. So I guess he's independently wealthy in his prison cell. I didn't think those prison jobs paid that well. How the hell is Christopher Watts paying his property taxes? And why would he be paying his property taxes when obviously the house was foreclosed upon? Exactly, Star Mama. Exactly. I agree. Or she could have had a futon or something. And then, there's a video out there where she says, I'm in my bedroom. And then she says, I'm in my office, as if she hadn't heard herself just a couple minutes earlier. Samantha says, yep, I think she was in the house, got her son to do that drive to look at rental for the friend for alibi because they were moving into the Watts home. So why house viewing? Shrimp Cocktail says SW would rub it CW's face that her previous, I guess we're supposed to think that he was her boss, was paying her bills. She even openly discussed it on social media during one of her, quote, inspirational speeches. Sophia says, what's the creepy story that SW's brother said about seeing a lookalike at the airport? Michelle says the Federal Trade Commission did a study of the top 350 multi-level marketing companies. They found that after expenses, 99.7% of the people who joined did not profit. And that figure has been pretty consistent forever. The year of the tragedy, 2018, it was 99.6%. of people who sign up for those product-based MLMs failed to ever see a penny of profit. 2021? Or maybe it was 2020. The FTC's website says it's now 99.9% of the people who sign up for those product-based MLMs failed to ever see a profit. Do you really believe Christopher Watt's wife was 35th from the top? And if she was, then why didn't she get better seats at that concert? Star Mama says Cindy was there when Cece was born, and she took care of Bella, not Christopher Watt's mother-in-law. So 86, the idea that SW didn't like Cindy, she did, and she trusted her. And when SW wanted to go on vacation, it was Cindy who she asked to take care of Bella and Cece, and that is huge. Yes, MJ, a slip of the tongue. She knew she was in her bedroom. That's my opinion. I think she knew damn well she was in her bedroom. And then I think she remembered her storyline. Whoops, wait a minute. Nope, this is my office. Well, I don't know. You guys know how I feel about those shoes. Shrimp Cocktail says the ruse. Oops. There it is. Shrimp Cocktail says the ruse play victim no matter what. They knew SW was dangerous and had an insurance policy. That means they were prepared with a plan if she did kill herself so they didn't lose big money. I'm confused about the insurance policy because I've never known of anybody who has a husband and 2 small children within that marriage to name anybody but their spouse and children on as beneficiary to any insurance policy. Star Mama says, remember that Christopher Watt's wife pushed him in North Carolina. Oh, she pushed him all right. I think she pounded on him and then pushed him out the front door. And FR said her legs could hurt you. How would anyone know that? I wonder if maybe her nut meltdown wasn't all that unusual for her, if that was her behavior pattern. Daisy Day says, still on the shelf about that pregnancy on what about that name? Samantha says, yep, Paula, I think they found out when she was sectioned or getting assessments done on her. Betty Davis says, if she was so OCD, she would have been strategic about putting child locks on the door and would have saved the whole inside lock situation. And the code joining bathroom door for Cece, who was wild. Samantha says somebody with OCD could not have meds like that, especially in their space, and that was her office, in their space. Red Shoe says that the Ruse red truck was spotted outside the house before, during, and after the murders. Now NA owns the truck. Star Mama says, why hide the DNA on the fetus? If it was CW's, maybe another Chris? It was the R's who asked for the DNA, not CW or the Watts. Betty Davis says, why did Betty ask NA if there was any reason why the dog would hit on her car? What? Red Shoe says, Betty, I never knew that about Betty asking NA about dogs alerting on her car. Sophia points out about how worried NA was. Wasn't NA the one who asked the police officer if she was going to get arrested? Red Shoe says, yes, NA thought she was about to be arrested. Why didn't law enforcement follow up on that little concern? Try to dig in and find out why she may have thought she was going to be arrested. Yes, Betty Davis. She had her phone passcode but didn't know her age. Star Mom is saying, what if she killed the girls, survived an attempted suicide, and has been institutionalized, and upon release lives in another country under a similar name? Just an idea with a light bulb. MJ says, anyone can have a slip of the tongue, as SW did. Sure, anyone can have a slip of the tongue. It's called a Freudian slip, and it's when you let the truth slip out. Shrimp Cocktail says the ruse couldn't have that insurance company looking into her death either. They needed to pin it on CW. SW shouldn't have been insured in the first place. Well, if she was insured, then it seems to me the beneficiaries would have been 2 small children and her spouse. That's a good point. If the DNA results say that Christopher Watts is a father, then why not release him? Hey guys, we're coming up on 2 hours. I need to take off now and get some stuff done. So I'm sorry to do this because I love this conversation. But let's go ahead and say goodnight for now. And I'll hop on tomorrow too, maybe just for an hour or so tomorrow, because tomorrow's kind of a busy day. But we'll touch base again tomorrow. I'm glad y'all came. Great discussion. Let's keep the discussion rolling because we can. It's a true crime case. It's on the public stage. We have the right as true crimers to discuss the case of Christopher Watts. Oh, there goes my phone. Good night, everyone. See you tomorrow.